I will read from Philippians, the first chapter, the 3rd through the 6th, and the 9th through the 11th verses. I thank my God in all my remembrance of you, always in every prayer of mine for you, making all my prayer with joy, thankful for your partnership in the gospel from the first day until now. And I am sure that he who began a good work in you will bring it to completion at the day of Jesus Christ. And it is my prayer that your love may abound more and more with knowledge and all discernment, so that you may approve what is excellent and be pure and blameless for the day of Christ, filled with the fruits of righteousness which come through Jesus Christ to the glory and praise of God. This chapel service always gives me a lot of kicks, not only because it's the chapel period with the Easter crowd, but because there is a certain excitement and happiness and eagerness as we begin the school year. In keeping with the mood, I would like to speak with you this morning about happiness. Happiness, because such, I am convinced, is our true nature. The old-fashioned picture of a Christian college as a place of long faces, no fun, strict and unrealistic rules, and out-of-date courses does not fit Augsburg. Those of us who have been around here for a while know that this is not paradise, and you who are new will undoubtedly become aware of that soon too. But there is a happiness of some depth in this community, for we have meaningful work to do. The presence of the forgiving Word of God and the freedom to live in love as God's people. As an academic community, we are set apart for the work of study and research and reflection. And this unquestionably demands of us sacrifice and suffering. It means that we are willing to have our minds changed, even when we don't want them changed. That we ask questions that we have not dared ask before, and that we learn disciplines that are now necessary. But a happiness, and I'm absolutely convinced of this, a happiness of some depth is only possible where there is discipline and the sacrifice of hard work. This is a place of happiness, but we're not unrealistic optimists. We are aware, and our coming together in chapel is symbolic of this, that we are a sinful people. That there is pride, hate, selfishness, dishonesty within us and among us. We are happy not because we are perfect nor even good, but because we believe there is one who is good to us. Our happiness, in other words, is dependent upon the presence of God's forgiving Word in Jesus Christ. It is in accepting this forgiveness this morning and being renewed in it day by day that the possibility is open to us as individuals and as a community to rise above the ambiguities of life, our guilt and sin. And confession is therefore for us not a morbid exercise in piety, but the place of joy, where in awareness of our own badness, we realize the goodness of God toward us. In the forgiveness of God, there is freedom. Freedom to live together in love as God's people. We are not judges of one another, even though we exist in a system of grades, of having our work evaluated and that we are expected to be responsible. Our goal is to grow in freedom, in awareness of and confidence in ourselves, and this not in isolation, but in an open relationship with one another. It is a mistake to think that the life of the scholar must be antisocial. As God's people, we are responsible not only for our work, but for each other, and for that matter, for all mankind. In openness and sensitivity for others, in relationships which are permeated with the forgiveness of God in Jesus Christ, in love as His people, there is real happiness. We may have fun. We may accept ourselves and find ourselves acceptable. And we may have excitement in our work and life together. Finally, as we begin this school year in joy, we ought to do so thankfully. We are quite a spoiled people, I think. We take other things and people so often for granted. And I think we need to remember that we are really a marked people. We are really a marked people because we have so much. The Marine in Vietnam dodging mortar and picking shrapnel out of his legs would trade places with any of us. The bright and energetic Indian, the restless African youth, the Puerto Rican or Negro in the slums of our cities, and many others who are impoverished educationally, would like to be educated men, but they probably can't even imagine the way you and I live and the opportunities we have. We face hard work. Unquestionably, there is or there will be suffering, anxiety, disappointment, conflict in most all of our lives. But we nevertheless may know a happiness of some depth because we have meaningful work, the presence of God's forgiving word, and the freedom to live together as God's people. We are extremely fortunate to be here. Let us give thanks and praise to God.